This is what Utah looks like from 525 miles above the earth. My name is Lynn. My wife's name is Capri. We live in a small town in a valley in the mountains of central Utah. On September 14th, 2022, we went on a camping trip with our friends and neighbors, Neil and Kathy. We pulled our camping trailers 2 hours from our home to Capitol Reef National Park. We parked our trailers in a campground outside the park and then drove in to enjoy the spectacular scenery. This is an aerial view of the visitor center. We wanted to see the scenery up close, so the next day, September 15th, the four of us got into our truck and drove to Capitol Gorge. The drive there was beautiful. The gorge is a narrow canyon in which the dirt road is intertwined with a dry riverbed. You can see how the dry riverbed and the road overlap each other on the way into the gorge. There is a parking lot at the trailhead where we parked our truck. We knew we were going into a slot canyon, which are dangerous for flash floods, but the weather forecast said that there was only a 15% chance of rain. And you can see here that the ground is bone dry. Kathy perceived the danger more than the rest of us did, and she kept her eyes on the clouds. The destination for our hike was 0.8 of a mile into the canyon, one way in and one way out. It had started to drizzle, and when we reached our destination, the rain suddenly got a lot worse.
Yeah, this is what the beginnings of a flash flood looks like.
So here we are, 0.8 of a mile into the gorge. We knew we needed to start making tracks to get out of that gorge as quick as we could. The lightning and the thunder started, and it was just sheets of rain. And we had a long way to go to get to that parking lot. We met two other couples on the trail who were from Chicago, and we were all in good spirits.
Well, we haven't died yet.
We're still here.
We're still here. There's a big waterfall coming down. We gotta keep moving.
The rain was coming down in buckets. The water that we were walking through was getting deeper and deeper. The lightning was just vivid and fierce, but the thunder was so loud and it echoed off the walls of the canyon that we could hardly hear each other. We had to shout at each other to communicate. We were about 300 yards from the parking lot when the folks from Chicago all of a sudden veered off the trail and stopped underneath an overhang. We kept going, but soon encountered a stream that was flowing right across the trail and into the river that was now flowing to our left.
Okay, you can see the creek.
This new stream was about 6 feet across and a couple of feet deep. Here you can see Capri and Neil and Kathy have waded across, fought the current and waded across the stream and are on the other side. With all the rain and the waterfalls coming off the walls of the canyon, I knew that that was only going to get wider and deeper. I was worried about the folks from Chicago, so I made a decision.
I'm going to go back and get those people. I'm going to go back and get them.
Here you can see Neil telling Kathy, I'm going to get you up to the parking lot and then I'm going to come back and help Lynn. And you can see my wife Capri saying the same thing, that, okay, I'll come back and help you. Unfortunately, when they reached the parking lot, they found that it wasn't the safe haven that we had hoped it would be. So you'll see the video on that in a second. So Capri decided to stay with Kathy there. You don't want to leave anyone alone in that situation. And Neil came back to help me. One of the ironies of making videos like this is when you're in danger, you're too busy to actually record anything. So anyway, while these three were heading up to the parking lot, I was walking the 150 yards or so back to where the folks from Chicago had holed up underneath the overhang. I told them about the stream across the trail and told them that every minute it's getting wider and deeper and it's time to go. They kind of didn't say anything and didn't move. And I said, it's now or never. And then finally, one of them said, we're concerned about the lightning. Then everything made sense. We're dealing with multiple dangers here. Rock slides, the lightning, floods and drowning, and how do you prioritize those dangers? In the Midwest, the ground is pretty flat and lightning is a huge danger. So I explained to them that the lightning will hit on the tops of the walls, not down in the canyon, that we're safe down in the canyon from lightning. What the danger is down here that we need to prioritize is drowning. One of the ladies asked me if I've done this before. And of course, they were looking for some credentials or some credibility so that they could believe that what I was telling them was true. I couldn't really tell them, well, this is my first time doing this kind of thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't believe me. But at the same time, I didn't want to lie. I wanted to just convince them of the truth. So when she asked me if I've done this kind of thing before, I just said, enough, meaning I've done this enough to know this is the right thing to do. The lady then said, that's good enough for me. And she grabbed my hand and we went marching out of there towards the stream. But we are in a very bad way here. We're trying to get across a flooded stream just so that we can get to a flooded parking lot and washed out roads. And the only thing that can really lessen those dangers is if the rain were to let up. Unbeknownst to me, at that moment, Kathy and Capri are back at the parking lot, and Capri suggested that they pray and ask that the storm be lessened and that the rain stop. And as soon as Capri said amen at the end of her prayer, the rain let up. I mean, it turned into just a very light drizzle. When the Chicago folks and I arrived at the stream, sure enough, it was about 10 feet wide, and it was over my knees in depth, but there was Neil on the other side of the stream ready to help us. We formed a human chain and got across. There was one of the ladies actually lost her footing and fell and basically sank up to her waist. We were able to grab her and steady her footing so she could get up and get going again. Next is a video of us after we cross the stream or heading for the parking lot, and note how clear it is.
These are some folks that Neil and I helped who were trying to wait it out because I'm worried about the lightning. But we just had to cross a stream that was knee deep.
A skeptic might say that, oh, that's just a coincidence that the rain stopped right after she prayed. But I have experienced so many coincidences in my life that I no longer believe in coincidences. And then as we started to approach the parking lot, we saw the dangers that were still present there.
Okay, now I gotta get the truck out of there before it gets stuck. Okay, I just moved the truck from there, or from here over to there, and the back left tire was about to go down there. And walk through ankle deep water here. That is, people were walking up that a few minutes ago. Well, 30 minutes ago.
You can see there's an extra vehicle in the parking lot, this dark pickup truck, apparently owned by a couple whom no one has seen for a long time. Those of us who were there in the parking lot were gathered at the picnic shelter when we heard what we thought sounded like screaming coming from down the trail. So you can see Neil and I followed, I've got red dots showing the trail that we followed to go down and see what was happening, see if we could find someone in distress. The trail ends, however, right there, and goes into the river.
Okay, so Neil and I have gone back to try to see if we could find that other couple. We're hoping that they're at high ground up here somewhere. I don't know if you can hear on the video, but you can hear rocks slapping together as they're rushing down the stream here. So if we tried to get in that water, the big boulders and cobbles that are being washed down the river would knock us right off our feet and right down the river. So we sure hope that other couple has found some high ground somewhere, because we can't go beyond this.
So at that point, Neil and I went back to the parking lot, and we decided the best thing we can do for those folks who are missing is to try and drive out and get out to where we can maybe get cell phone coverage or go find the ranger station and tell them about these folks who are missing. But the roads were washed out and we were stuck.
2 hours later.
Well, the cavalry has arrived. We're going to follow them out because the road is washed out. We went across there, and the road's washed out beyond there. But these guys, these guys are going to rescue us.
And right then, guess who showed up?
It's like, we're going to turn the heat on.
Well,
That's appreciated.
yeah. So these guys made it back okay.
These folks were pretty savvy. They were further down the trail. They managed to get up to high ground, and then they waited until the water receded and they walked upstream because it was time to get out of there.
Yeah.
In that car?
The folks from Chicago,
Okay.
and we got them out.
Okay.
They were going to stay down.
The park ranger who was driving the front end loader, he's a great guy. He's a guy who loves his job, and who wouldn't? I mean, driving a front end loader right in the wake of a flash flood, that's great stuff.
Here we go.
Snap job.
Following the
Mother.
rescue.
This guy's mother was a Jorgensen.
We're getting out of here.
For Jorgensen. It's a part. My cousin worked at just road.
Okay, so here we go. We're just going to follow his track. There's the front end loader up there.
Lots of rocks on shore.
All right, got to get both hands on the wheel. Okay, so the cars behind us got stuck, so the front end loader and the Ranger in the Suburban went back to pull the people out that got stuck, and they said that we could probably go ahead.
At this point, our vehicles are kind of strung out in a long line, and the park ranger in the Suburban had stopped, and so I caught up with him, and then I told him, hey, the folks from Chicago are stuck, and all he said was, dang. So we're gonna go ahead. The front end loader driver said he got all the big rocks moved out of the way, so we're hoping he goes down. When there's water over the road, just try to stay towards the high ground. So anyway, see you back in civilization. Okay, the road is a river here. Here we go. We got this. Okay. So there's the gate. We made it out. Neil's opening the gate for us. Our Ford F-350 got us through. All right, looks like we're on asphalt, and I can see sunshine up there. And it's raining, but we made it.